Well, butter my biscuit and call me Sally. Welcome back to Sustained and Unfiltered, y'all. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Riley, and Lord have mercy, we're only on day 3 of the Karen Reed retrial, and I'm already more exhausted than a one-legged man in a kicking contest. But let's get this thing going. For those of y'all just joining us from under that rock y'all been hiding under, well, Karen Reed is a poor woman in Massachusetts facing a second-degree murder charge for allegedly, and hey, let me stress, allegedly running down her boyfriend. And according to old Hank, running down her boyfriend while in reverse in the snow. Boston police officer John O'Keefe with her fancy new Lexus SUV and leaving him to freeze faster than a popsicle in Granny's deep freeze. Bless their hearts. Now, day 3 was what we in the South call short order. Kind of like when you only get half a stack of pancakes instead of that full Monty at the Waffle House. And look at me reading up on the Waffle House from the last time I said I might have to give my car back. hmm Judge Bev sent those jurors home early due to some, uh, and let me emphasize in quotations, confusion that Brennan had about witnesses. Can you believe it? I haven't seen that kind of confusion since Uncle Earl tried to explain Bitcoin to my 90-year-old Meemaw. Listen, there was no confusion. He wanted those videos, clips of Karen playing one after another to be the last thing that those jurors saw for the day. And honey, I didn't like it. I didn't like it one bit. But honey, what they did manage to get through before sending everybody home would have made a telenovela writer blush. State Police investigator Nicholas Guarino was back on the witness stand spitting out text messages between Karen and John from the day before his untimely departure from this mortal coil. But I guess I'm just glad he didn't say kill me like he did during the first trial. Hot mic anyone. I was just waiting. And sweet Lord in heaven, those two poor kids were fighting like cats in a burlap sack. But I have to admit, I've been there, married that, and frankly, thrilled I divorced it. Am I right, ladies? Lord, one of those text messages said, sick of always arguing and fighting. And it was in all caps, y'all. That's what we call text screaming where I come from. John apparently was rejecting Karen's calls faster than my cousin Erlene rejects suitors at the church social. And Karen, she was texting him saying, well, you started a rager with me out of nowhere and then tell me you're sick of fighting with me. Lord have mercy. That's messier than a pig wrestling contest in July. And I should know. Been there, done that. Lord, been there, marry that. And yeah, this time I am talking about the pig. And get this. Karen apparently asked John if he was interested in someone else, and he said, nope. But honey, when a man gives you a one-word answer, that's about as reassuring as a screen door on a submarine. Am I right? She also complained that she tried to hug and kiss him that morning and he whacked her with a pillow. I mean, dadgum, that's not exactly what you call romance novel material now, is it? Hold on to your britches, 'cause that wasn't even the juiciest part. Prosecution then played clips from an interview Karen gave where she talked about drinking the night of the incident. Well, apparently, she was pouring multiple shots into her own cocktails because the bar drinks were weaker than my great Aunt Myrtle's unsweet tea. Ugh, that's a sin right there. Mortal sin. Unsweet tea in the South. Bless her heart. Ugh. Well, we've all been there, but maybe not when we're fixing to drive, honey. But she just gave interview like, when I drink and drive, I am more cautious and slower. Now, I know everybody else seemed to have been drinking and driving that night too and aren't accused of killing somebody. But she doesn't need to go on national television and advertise that and now it come back and bite her in the booty. Now listen, y'all don't forget that the day before yesterday, the day before today, which was yesterday, am I making sense? Ugh, we had O'Keefe's mama, Peggy O'Keefe, on the stand giving her emotional testimony. And that poor woman has lost a lot. So when she heard Karen Reed yelling, Peg, is he dead? Is he dead, Peg? Well, that would have just broke your heart faster than a hammer on a glass ornament. Well, unless you're Peggy, of course, 'cause it does not seem like there was any love lost between the two of them. When Peg asked what happened, Karen supposedly said, "We went to a party and I just left him there." Left him there like a forgotten casserole at a church potluck, am I right? Wait, was that inappropriate timing? I apologize. I will work on that. So, thank goodness Karen's defense team is working harder than a cat trying to bury its business on a marble floor to show she's been framed. Keep working, boys. And y'all remember way back on day one of this trial a couple days ago when we had Canton firefighter, paramedic, used to be a EMS at age of 15, Timothy Nuttall, testifying that Karen said, "I hit him, I hit him, I hit him," 3 times when they found poor John. Well, the defense attorney, Alan Jackson, not that country singer, sugar. They couldn't look more different. Well, Alan Jackson was quick as a hiccup to point out that Nuttall previously testified she only had said it twice. Jackson asked if his memory gets better with time. Well, better my backside. That's about as subtle as a freight train. But that Nuttall, he said, yeah, sometimes. I wish. And just between us chickens, I'm starting to think that this trial's going to be longer than a line at a Dolly Parton concert, especially when she's in Dollywood. Now, tomorrow, those jurors are going on a field trip by bus to see where all this mess supposedly happened. Now, I'd give my best peach cobbler recipe to be a fly on that bus wall. 'Cause y'all know some juicy conversation's gonna happen faster than a gossip at a beauty salon, even though they're told not to discuss it. Just like they never watch what trial's going on YouTube when they get home. Now, let's not forget that special prosecutor, and I do use that term loosely, special prosecutor, Hank Brennan, really a defense attorney getting probably almost $1 million from the DA's office once this is done. Well, he once defended that mobster Whitey Bulger. And you talk about a career choice. It's an interesting one. And meanwhile, Karen Reed's got herself a fancy LA lawyer in Alan Jackson, and he once prosecuted Phil Spector. But he also represented Kevin Spacey. So I'm going to have to give that one a break even. I should also mention that Karen's added Victoria George to her defense team, and I think I mentioned this in the pre-trial video I made. But if you haven't listened to that, that's fine. I'm not hurt by that. No problem. Mm-mm. Well, Victoria George was an alternate juror in Karen's first trial. And if that ain't the most plot twisty thing you've heard today, well, I just don't know what is. That's like having the wedding guest plan your divorce party. Well, sugar pies, that's about all the time I've got for today. tomorrow we were gonna have those crash daddies come in because Judge Bev got her panties in a wad and lost her control the other day and is demanding they show up for a voir dire, I think's the word, because I was like, is that French? Anyway, they're gonna push that to Monday, but I'm looking forward to that. But tomorrow, uh, because this is a half a day unexpected, on accident, Hank Brennan, well, tomorrow they're going to go on a little field trip. And unfortunately, that means we don't get to go with them. It will not be televised or even streamed for that matter. But we're going to have court afterwards for a little while. So we'll see what we got. I don't know what'll be piping hot or not, but we might have some tea at the end of it. You never know. Now, if y'all are enjoying this legal drama more than your mama's soap operas, don't forget to smash that like button harder than a fly on a kitchen counter. And subscribe faster than that gossip spreads at church social. And honey, ring that bell like it owes you money. You can ring my bell. I ring my bell, ring a ling a ling. This is Riley signing off from Sustained and Unfiltered, y'all. Remember what my daddy always says, the truth is like grits. It might take some time to cook, but eventually it sticks to your ribs. Y'all come back now, you hear?